Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Alright, if you haven't heard already, Cam Newton has been cut by the New England Patriots and is being replaced by Alabama alumni rookie quarterback Mac Jones. Now, for Mac Jones, is he going to be the face and or future franchise quarterback for the New England Patriots? We will find out this upcoming year if he is going to be that dude. Now, as for Cam, since Cam just got replaced by a rookie quarterback, says a lot about Cam Newton's future, because based on this year, especially being cut right before the season started and being replaced by a rookie quarterback, it shows that Cam Newton is done with the NFL and should retire. And saying that, I'm saying that because other than possibly the New York Giants or the Washington football team, the rest of the NFL has their quarterback for the future. And Cam Newton has possibly very, very little at even getting onto a new team this year, let alone before the season starts. I mean, he has a shot at getting one-on-one when the season is all said and done. But if Cam Newton does not get on a team within the next year and a half, I say he should retire, because he is done based on what just happened with New England. Alright, now let's talk some records. In baseball, Toronto Blue Jays starting pitcher Robbie Ray just broke an MLB record for most strikeouts in the first 1,000 innings pitched. And he has 1,244 strikeouts, which over his career averages 1.2 strikeouts per game. Now, let's add on to his record for this year. Robbie Ray has been doing phenomenal for the Toronto Blue Jays. He is 10-5 with a 2.7 ERA, along with 202 strikeouts. Now, for this year, he has a chance with about 4 to 6 weeks left in the baseball season. He has a chance at breaking 2 personal records. And the 2 personal records is having the most strikeouts for himself in a season, and he has it right now at 235, which he set back in 2017. And he could possibly have more wins than he did in 2013 with 15 wins. Those are 2 records that he could possibly set. And based on how he's doing this year, it is very, very possible that he could break both, because how great he's doing. He's also on the list and is among the top 3 to top 5 candidates to win the AL Cy Young Award. And having a 2.7 ERA along with 10 wins and 200 plus strikeouts, I say he should totally get that award, because he is the backbone of that pitching squad for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, let's talk some interesting news, like real interesting, because Ben Simmons just announced and told Philadelphia that he no longer wants to play for the 76ers. Now, since he's going to get traded probably very soon, maybe, just maybe, gets on a new team before the season starts on October 3rd. But if he doesn't go to any new team before October 3rd, here are my top 3 teams on where I think he should go. Number 1 is Dallas. Now, I get based on last year he was more of a defensive player, but based on last year it looks like he should stick to that. But if he joins Luka Doncic and is able to utilize and upgrade his offensive scheme and his shooting ability, the him being on the Dallas Mavericks with Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic, that sounds like the next title winner of the NBA, other than the Brooklyn Nets and LA Lakers. The Dallas Mavericks are in line to do that. Now, Ben Simmons could totally change up that Dallas defensive scheme and slow down a lot of players, because if Ben Simmons ends up going to Dallas, Luka Doncic could be looking at an NBA title within the next 3 to 5 years. Now, my second team on where I think he should go is the New York Knicks. With Julius Randle coming off a comeback player of the, or most improved player of the year, if Ben Simmons can go to the New York Knicks and bring that defensive game of what he had in Philly, the New York Knicks could go even farther in the playoffs this coming year if he goes to before the season starts. Because Julius Randle, the season he had was unheard of based on improvement because of what Julius Randle was doing before he went to the New York Knicks and then does what he does with the New York Knicks. We've never seen a player do that, especially get a team, a losing team, to the playoffs after 8 years where they're averaging like 20 wins, around the 20 win range. And Ben Simmons bringing that defensive scheme, they can go as far as the Eastern Conference Finals because Ben Simmons came off a defensive player candidate last year. Now, like I said, if he can utilize his offense, he will get the New York Knicks to go farther in the playoffs year after year. Now, out of all three teams, my third one I'm about to mention, this team needs Ben Simmons the most, and that is the Boston Celtics. And the reason I'm saying that is because now the Boston Celtics is just down to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I would say Al Horford, but Al Horford is aging and his game is depleting as the years go on. And on the defensive side, Ben Simmons would be perfect for that. Because based on what Boston had last year as a record, going 36-36, and losing the players that they had, it's going to change the way how the outcome of their season is going to look from now on, because Boston has been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 5 years and has at least gone to the second round every single year since Jason Tatum was drafted. Now, with the players they lost and potentially added Ben Simmons, they can keep that role going as being a playoff team every single year and hopefully getting other players to come play for Boston, depending on who it is, that could be an NBA title team within the next 3 to 5 years. Alright, since the NFL season is coming up, the new season where it's 17 games in the 2021-2022 season, here are my top 10 players. Number 1 is Patrick Mahomes, and we all know how much of a magician he is, being able to throw side passes, no-look passes, and being able to launch it 80 yards down the field to Demarcus Robinson, to Tyreek Hill, to Mecole Hardman, or to Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes is lined up with offensive talent and is probably going to have another superstar year. And I say, having a 17th game now, I say Patrick Mahomes will be the first one to break both Peyton Manning's touchdown and passing yard record in one season. But even if he does, is the record really going to count as it is if he does it in 17 games? Who knows? Now, number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. This dude is a walking fantasy point. Unfortunately, he got injured 3 games in up to last year, and could imagine what he would have done last year. But going off the season he had 2 years ago, having 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing in the same season, he was the third player to ever do that, and has the chance of being the only player to ever do it twice if Christian McCaffrey can get as much touches as he did a couple years ago, because Christian McCaffrey is a different breed. Now, number 3 is Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is the backbone of that Seattle Seahawks offense, let alone team, because Russell Wilson went 12-4 last year, had 40 touchdowns, and we are going to see year 3 with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Imagine of what round 2 is going to look like, of what DK can do, of what Tyler Lockett can do, and how ridiculous Russell Wilson is. And but their record is going to look possibly a lot different this year because of how stacked that NFC West is. But number 3 on my list is Russell Wilson. Number 4 is Aaron Donald, and we all know why Aaron Donald is a top 5 player. The guy is a walking sack. Like, people literally have to pregame for this guy. And there is one picture, if you guys haven't seen it yet, of where almost the entire offensive line of the Miami Dolphins is blocking Aaron Donald. That just shows you how scary he is, because he can change a game just like that. Because it could be the Buccaneers playing the Rams, and the Buccaneers could be up 10, 14 points. Aaron Donald is that guy to get those sacks and fumbles to change a game and change the whole way that whole game scheme will look. Now, number 5 is reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers. And this coming year, we are possibly either going to see Aaron Rodgers have his potentially best season ever, because it's going to be almost impossible to beat what Aaron Rodgers did, going 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Like, that is just crazy. But this season, we are possibly going to be looking at Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers last year. So what is Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams going to do for Green Bay this year? They could go all out, or they probably won't try at all. But as we know, Aaron Rodgers needs to get that second Super Bowl, and he's the only guy that can lead Green Bay to get to that Super Bowl and get number 2 for his career. Now, number 6 is former unanimous MVP Lamar Jackson. Now, the only reason that he's not a little bit lower on this list is because of what he has done in the playoffs. He is 1-2 in the playoffs, but Lamar Jackson is Michael Vick 2.0, possibly better, because he's had back-to-back seasons of 1,000 rushing yards, and he's throwing 3,500 pass yards along with that. Lamar Jackson this year has to go farther than the second round, in my opinion, to officially put his stake in a top 10 players list for years to come, because we all know, because anyone can be marvelous and spectacular in the regular season, but when it comes to that postseason, how much of a different player are you? How much of a leader are you? How can you switch that game and put it in your control to win that game? That's Lamar at 6. Number 7 would be DeAndre Hopkins. Now, this year, he has the chance at possibly going higher than he did last year in receiving yards with 1,400 plus because the entire Arizona Cardinals team just got revamped, especially the offense, because the Cardinals just got Pro Bowler AJ Green, and that is going to take off a lot of heat on DeAndre Hopkins and will put him in that range of where he could get more than 1,400 plus yards, because AJ Green himself is a phenomenal player, at least what he's done for Cincinnati, and has a chance to prove his game even more with Arizona. And besides, DeAndre Hopkins has got future All-Pro quarterback Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray with D-Hop and AJ Green, now that's a team that can put the Cardinals back into the playoffs. Number 8 is Alvin Kamara. This guy is a different breed from top to bottom as a running back. He's averaging 700 plus yards on both ends of receiving and rushing every single year. Now, I get it. People may not look at him as an elite running back because he hasn't hit over 1,000 rushing yards yet. But that doesn't matter as long as you can help your team win. And Alvin Kamara is that dude. And he also had a game last year where he scored 6 touchdowns. I repeat, 6 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. He himself outscored the Minnesota Vikings by having those 6 and ended up tying a record of most total touchdowns in one game, which is 6, but it's the most rushing touchdowns in NFL history with 6. Now, if there are 2 players that I've said already on this list that if you want a walking fantasy point, it would be Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. Now, number 9 is Patrick Mahomes' favorite weapon, Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce is possibly, maybe, it's a bit of an argument that he might be the best tight end in Chiefs franchise history. Now, people could say that it's Tony Gonzalez, but because he has 15,000 receiving yards, he has 1,300 receptions. But Travis Kelce is that dude to break all the Chiefs receiving records, and Patrick Mahomes can definitely help him to do it. He is also coming off a record year, having the most yards as a tight end himself. And for how lethal Travis Kelce is, it's hard to see that he is a tight end. Like, we can just call him a receiver because of how phenomenal he is. Now, last but not least, number 10 on my list is Derrick Henry. Now, coming off a 2,000-yard season, everyone's thinking that he can go for round 2 of 2,000 yards. And I say so too, because coming off a season of 2,000 yards, along with 17 touchdowns, and then going into this year with an extra game, Derrick Henry has got a huge shot. I don't think he's going to go for 2,000 this year, but I say his rushing yards will be 1,300 plus, along with 11 touchdowns. That's my prediction. And besides, Derrick Henry is an actual cheat code. Like, nobody can tackle this dude up one-on-one. You actually need, like, 5 people to put that dude in the ground. Because if you go one-on-one, you're going to look like Josh Norman, and that wasn't too pretty. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any social media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news. And I'm out.